Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you proudly by Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Barton Power Sports, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Best Care Home Services.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. It's always hard to act to follow Marty Roberts. I know
Marty Roberts.
Yeah, I know Marty Roberts, but Marty Marbury to come in and talk about West Tennessee tourism and all the great places to eat that are going on.
You know, it seems out when I talk to you,
yes,
you're always eating. You got wild game dinners out to Wazoo.
I do, don't I?
You know, and
it's that time.
Marty's talking restaurants and stuff.
That's why that's why I weigh 170 pounds now instead of 111 when I graduated.
Well, you need a little more extra weight in March.
It's all in the same place, though. That's the only problem. You know, it's not in my hips. Okay, it's someplace else.
In the head?
Yeah, it's not in my head. No,
okay.
No. First Saturday of the month, that's Dave Gabbert. He's here, and his interpreter has slipped in also.
Hello, folks.
Yeah, in full camo is Gene Smith, hunter education guru with more than 20,000 have passed his classes, and several didn't. I mean, when we get right down to it. Thank you for being here, Gene and
yes,
Dave.
Sir.
And, of course, Shelby McCall is our show producer. We rolled into our 18th year on the air, and hey, one of my favorite places to visit, of course, is Stuttgart, Arkansas, not Stuttgart or whatever it might be, you think. Just a great place. And a tragic event happened, if I'm not mistaken, with a fire that took part 75% of this facility in Stuttgart. And on Monday, they're going to have an event bringing back the RNT Calls facility and the art of call making. And they're calling it a Callapazoola. Let's let the man say it. Let's let John Stevens start it because he is the president of RNT Calls in Stuttgart. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
All right, so they're going to call it what now, John?
It's called Callapalooza.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, and I'm assuming you invented that term?
Actually, there was a music festival that it kind of dates myself that was back in the 90s called Lollapalooza. So, and Palooza meaning festival, we thought that was a perfect name to call it Callapalooza.
And calls on there because
of duck calls, of course.
Yeah, and you think of that and you think of RNT, but tell us, walk us through this, John, as the president at RNT, that what happened to your facility and the rebirth here.
Okay, well, it's been actually 3 years ago, which is hard to believe, but in 2016, February 4th, we had a fire that started in our dust collection system, and it pretty much took out 2/3 of our building. And, anytime you have a fire, that's never ideal, but, as we got ready to move forward, we thought, we would just rebuild it like we had it, and the more we thought about it, once we kind of got over the initial fact that our building had burnt down, we thought, well, we have an opportunity to change things in the building, because anytime you build something, you always go back and say, man, I wish I'd have done this different or do that different. So it really got us thinking, and of course we thought grander than we probably should have starting out. We were just throwing ideas out for all these crazy things to make call making or when you come to our shop, make it a more customer experience.
Yes.
And also we're big on teaching the history of call making. So we wanted to, for when the consumer comes in, to be able to see the calls, learn about the history, and calls are so important for Arkansas and Stuttgart, Arkansas, especially. We wanted to pass that, that history and that heritage on to other people. And so we first had this huge idea of doing a big duck call museum and some other things inside here. And, of course, that was way over budget. So that's part of the reason why it's been 3 years since we've got to this point. But we have about 3 to 4 times retail space now than we did before. It's a beautiful facility. We have a actual craft beer bar inside here.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
Yeah. So and it's a nice deal. We try to just think of things that were made in Arkansas or handcrafted that we could add to our facility to make the experience better for the customer. So we chose native beer. That's all we sell, so that it's made here in Arkansas. And when we went and looked at what breweries we were going to kind of partner up with, because we knew nothing about that. Well, there's a brewery from North Little Rock called Flyway Brewery.
Yeah.
And I mean, even though the name was perfect, we just really hit it off with them well. And and that was it on that. So we are opening up a bar called the Flying Duck inside of our
the Flying Duck. Okay.
Yep, and the Flying Duck comes from Butch Richenbach's original decal that was on his duck call had a little duck on it.
Did,
and everybody
yeah.
everybody referred to that as the Flying Duck. So that's kind of where that name came from. And we worked with Flyway. We even have our own amber ale that came out this fall called the Flying Duck. We have a clothing line that is actually promotes. It has old advertisement from old call makers from back in the 30s and
Wow.
40s, and,
Yeah.
and a little tag that supports that. So everything we're doing in this whole deal is to try to make more awareness of older call makers that a lot of the younger generation just don't know about.
Well, for our listeners, may not be familiar with you, John, tell us a quick little bio on you, because I am, but some of our listeners might not be.
Okay, well, I'm from Stuttgart, Arkansas, and I'm very fortunate that growing up here, of course, with Stuttgart being the duck capital of the world, having the World Duck Calling Championship, I was very interested in duck call making and duck calling at a very early age. And so I went to Butch Richenbach's shop as a child, and he was the founder of Rich and Tone Duck Calls,
Yes.
and is a world champion. And so he was kind of my mentor. He showed me or taught me how to call, and then I would go over there on the weekends and the nights and learn different things about call making and helping in his shop. And so, and the neat thing is he learned from another call maker, Chick Majors,
That's
the same
right.
way when he was
Yes.
a child. So,
Yeah.
it's a pretty neat story there. But when he started having bad heart health issues, I guess, probably in the late 90s.
Yeah.
He started in the early 90s, but really got bad. He was getting ready to sell Rich and Tone. And at
Yes.
that time,
Yeah.
I had graduated college and was working in South Carolina.
Were you really? I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
yeah. I lived. My daughter is she's so mad because she found out just like 2 years ago that we lived in Hilton Head Island, and now we live in Stuttgart.
Yeah.
Oh, and
That's a-
from Hilton Head
Yeah.
back to Stuttgart, though, back to your
Right.
roots and everything.
Right. So, but it all worked out great when we had the opportunity. We didn't have kids at the time, and that, we didn't really have anything to lose, so we moved back to Stuttgart and worked with Butch and bought, Rich and Tone, and he stayed on until he just got, so ill that he couldn't.
And he passed in,
but-
when did he pass? When did Butch pass?
Actually, in 2015.
Yeah.
He passed away in the June before our fire.
Yeah, I knew that, and of course the great Chick Major. You've done a little competitive calling, hadn't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have.
Tell our
I have.
listeners what.
Well, I started about 11 or 12 years old. I won the Junior World in 1985.
Yeah.
I was 12 years old. In 1986, at 13, I was the youngest one to ever qualify for the men's
Amazing.
world.
Yeah.
And since then, I've won the worlds 3 times and won the champion of champions. So,
Well,
That's
I know my good friend Buck Gardner. His battle with cancer right now, and he talks a lot about those days back in the old days. And want to send a shout out to Buck. That hope
Yes,
that
sir.
this continue to improve. And because when we talk duck calling, I think of John. I think of him. I've been at Stuttgart when he's won, covering it over there, and been to the event. But to see this happen, John, I know you're still making calls. You got your place in there. You're making your calls, and the area itself is going to make it feel like an experience when you come into this new facility, and it all starts Monday, March the 4th, and goes through the 9th, right?
that is correct. Actually, on March through Wednesday, we're having just the shop will be closed. We have some private parties that night for people that have helped us and our employees along the way. But we have a different online event every day. So we're having limited edition releases on every day. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there will be a Callapalooza release that we do on our website at rntcalls.com.
Wow.
And then Thursday, it opens to the public. So
how excited. I mean, you got to be how old are you now? I got to ask you this because you're
I'm 46.
Oh, no. The same age as my son. I don't believe it. Okay. You got to be really excited about this. I know it's been kind of this 3-year period of not knowing what's going to happen and everything else. I know you. How many kids you got?
I have 2.
All right. You're getting ready to give birth to something new here. So I'm assuming you got to be a little antsy about all this yourself because your heart's in this, I know.
Yes, sir. And it's, I work with the greatest people in the world. All the guys that work here and girls at Richard Cone, they've stuck through all this, and they're just as excited and proud of this building as I am. And that's, that makes it fun to come to work when you have a group like that.
And drive by it and know, the fire itself had to be devastating to you. And did you standing there watching it? From there to now, talk about that experience.
Well, actually, I was not here, so it makes it even tougher for me. I was traveling.
Okay.
And, so we just turned around and came back that night. At midnight we were
on
back
the road
in Stuttgart.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So you had to come back, and did the dream still stay? You didn't waver on anything?
No, it did for me because my mentality. That's one thing that
you're a competitor. Yeah.
Well, and my brother told me something a long time. My younger brother, and it's always neat to learn something from a younger brother. But he's had things that's come up, and he says, you can never worry about what happened. You got to think what the next step is, and that's kind of how I dealt with this. I just didn't, what's done's done. We got to figure out how to move forward.
Well, I think the Callapalooza, is that close?
That's pretty close.
Yeah,
that's pretty close. Yeah, I got it right there. The Callapalooza. All right, it starts all over. RNT Calls is coming up, and folks, they can go online. How do they get information about what's going on? The company, give us
any of our social media outlets, Facebook, Instagram, and our website rntcalls.com. That information's on there, and it's like I said, it's a festival of celebrating the art of call making. We've got seminars all day Saturday as far as learning how to checker duck calls, laminate duck calls. There's all kind of call making seminars.
Wow.
We have 12 different call makers that are friends of ours that will be set up selling their calls at our facility as well.
Okay.
Duck calling contest. It's we joke, even though we're competitors, we still all like building calls. So
yes,
we
you do.
want to get together and promote that. So it's going to be a neat event, and hopefully we can continue to do it each year.
Well, I thank you, John, for taking time on quick notice. I wanted to get this on the Outdoors of Larry Ray, folks. Just check it out. It's only about an hour. Let's just drive on over there.
You got time to make it over there?
Yeah, I could make it over today if I didn't have something else to do. But this is just the second. We got to wait for a while.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. John, thank you, buddy. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on.
Stay in touch. Okay. All right.
We'll do it.
All right. Thanks, John Stevens. Really known for duck calling and duck call makers. He kind of humbly says. 3-time winner of the world and champion of champion. He just came over that a little bit, but thanks for doing that. I don't call very well, but it's really neat to be around people to do. You know that because when you're with Jeff and those guys like that, there's just something about hearing that call at dawn when the ducks are flying when you have them and you've been to Stuttgart?
It's been years since I've been in Stuttgart.
We go to the prairie.
Yeah, we need to go over there, all three of us, sometime.
Road trip.
Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, when you get back from your road trip, we'll do that. All right, let's take one more segment. We're going to talk about high water on the Tennessee River with, hopefully, Clay Towers.
Tell them to go get another cup of coffee.
Get another cup of coffee. Hot chocolate. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of those.
Don't stick on the fire.
Yeah, all right, we'll be right back.